let's talk about the main topic, James Gunn fixing Superman. Okay, so I felt like the problem with this movie was that the story was a complete mess. It was overstuffed. It had too many things going on. And to me, it's like, look, when you compare it to Man of Steel had a clear story where it was like, that's General Zod. Those are the bad guys. They want to destroy Earth. Superman's got to stop them. And I love that the military is teaming up with Superman to stop the bad guys. Go. Like that was it. But this movie, I mean, Lex was the villain, but it just, God, it had so many different things going on that to me, it was a mess. And I'm sorry, Crypto, cool at first, way too much of it. He turned into fucking Jar Jar Binks, where it was like, okay, I've gotten my dose of Crypto. I didn't know that he was going to be a co-star in this fucking story. Yeah. Ryan and Matt, what are some of the things that you would change from James Gunn's Superman?
A good focus would just be like, keeping it Superman. I think that's what made Man of Steel so good, was just because there was no other characters that you knew about yet. Like there wasn't like the Justice Society. There wasn't
and this isn't the first Superman movie that hasn't been good. Like Superman Returns also had its issues. It had a bad story as well. Yeah, but it had a good Superman. I like, Brandon Routh. I thought he did a fantastic job with what he had. And I like David Cornsweet. I thought he did a good job of being Superman. I like Brandon better. And I like Henry better, but
just this story was just, there was a lot going on.
There was no story here.
Direction.
There was no
story.
In the Life of Superman. You started a Day in the Life of Superman. You started off where it's like, I love my Kryptonian parents. They're like, oh, but it turns out to be that they're dicks. So now I like my Earth parents. And now that things have changed, it was just dumb. It was dumb. He learned. That's the only thing that Superman learned, was that his parents were douchebags, and learn to like the parents that you kind of like took for granted. That's the lesson. That's it. And that's not enough. That's so surface. That's so,
unless and this has got to be like some big brain play, which I don't think they're thinking like this. The only way it could have worked is like, okay, what if another Superman from this other world got the same message but encrypted it all the way? And this is what he did exactly. And then we get a whole multiverse Superman thing. That would be the only thing that would make this whole thing cool.
That's too big britches for them.
That is, I know, but that's the only thing.
They're not wearing that. They're not wearing that thinking cap. And that's why we make good stories with the Nephilim. So, but anyway, no. One thing I would have changed, same like Matt, I would have pared away the Justice Gang that was just in there for silliness.
I love Guy Gardner and Mr.
But the biggest problem that I have, and the biggest thing that totally throws all of that off with the Kryptonian parents, is that you have Kara in the film. Kara knew her aunt and her uncle, when they were all on Krypton because of her, mom and dad. And so she would have already told Clark, or Cal, she would have already told him, like, no, dude, you want to,
conquer,
you want to slay. You want to slay all these. You want to slay all these Earth ladies, because that's what we do, And that would have, his paradigm would have already changed, because she would have already been there. She had that. She didn't come to Earth as a baby. She came to Earth as that sort of, that teenage whatever. And she would have already had that sort of. No, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
But that's what we're picking now.
It don't matter.
It don't matter. It don't even matter, yo. So, but I mean, she came in. She's a drunk. She's, I guess she's drunk. She's drunk, Look,
I agree that like the whole plot twist of the parents that was stupid. I think that he thought that by doing that fans would be like, whoa, what a plot twist. Instead, to me, you could argue that was his version of Martha, where it was like, that was not enough. Like that was just like, it was just like, it was like, huh? And then not only that, but I don't know, maybe it's me, but like, to me, again, it's like making a joke at like Islamic cultures, because a lot of them would have, this is take many wives. It's kind of like, what are you doing? Like why make, Jor-El a villain? Because now it's like, okay, so moving forward in your DCU, you're never going to reference Jor-El ever again. Like, now you've just shit on them. You could argue that Zack Snyder shit on Jimmy Olsen, but to me, he wasn't a big enough figure in Superman's life that's going to alter it. Now, in later films, is he going to go back to his?
See, the thing that I liked about
well, hold on, is he going to go back to his Force of Solitude and bring up videos of his father? No, he's not. No, you've tarnished him forever.
Now,
go ahead.
Now you have VHS recordings, playing in sort of a sphere dome, whatever, and he's just going to sit down and veg to that now, And I was like, okay, cool. That's super set. And listen to the what sort of music was he listening to? Punk rock.
I'm a punk rock.
That was the worst thing.
My Superman listens to punk rock.
Yeah. But the thing is that what I like most about Superman's characters that he has two father figures that he looks up to. He gets some good information from Jor-El, and he gets some good information from Jonathan Kent.
Yes,
and he uses the best of both worlds. The lineage, his birth parent has a paradigm that he's instilling into his son, and then his earth parent is also instilling his own paradigm, so he can take the best of both worlds essentially and become a great character, a great person, a great model for other superheroes to look up to. But this version of Superman is a whiny little bitch, very similar to Kylo Ren, in that he has tantrums too. And it's like, what are we doing with these types of characters? They're not good anymore. There are some really cool things that are in this movie. Crypto was one. He came in, cool for a minute. But the biggest issue, or one of the biggest issues that I have was the use or misuse of Bizarro, which is why I'm wearing the Bizarro shirt. I think that the character known as the fucking erroneous hammer, which I could give a shit.
No,
the hammer of
Baravia.
I don't give a shit because it didn't fucking last. It didn't
erroneous.
The hammer of erroneous. So, but that was a character that wasn't needed just to have that persona. Another character that wasn't needed was Ultraman, because that's not Ultraman. That's not who Ultraman is, and that's never what Ultraman is. Again, you said something earlier we can touch again, but that wasn't Big Britches. Yeah. They just should have had him play a Bizarro, because that's all he was. He couldn't think for himself. They played fucking Battleship in his brain, A1, A2, B3, whatever. And he all he did was fight. He was just muscle, and that was it. And I was like, that could have been Bizarro. That should have been.
It should have been Bizarro. But the thing too is that the problem with the idea, not to cut you off, but the problem with
you're good.
The problem with the idea of like, oh, I cloned you. I searched all of your battlegrounds or whatever and found pieces of your hair or whatever. It was like, okay, so you did it once. You'd be able to do it more than once. You'd be able to copy his DNA and learn more about him. And
one-time use.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, it would have made more sense to me if he was literally Ultraman from a different Earth. We saw that he was creating these pocket universes, which later explored in Peacemaker. But still, that should have been a foundation of, hey, multiverse. Mm-hmm. And when he revealed himself, he should have been able to think for himself, like, yeah, it's like I'm from a different Earth, And that would have lent to the idea that there's a multiverse within DC already. Instead, he's a clone that is already the same age as the Superman that is standing in front of him. And I guess he couldn't think for himself. He's a big dumb idiot, like the big ogre from Mad Max Thunderdome. It's just like, it was such a stupid story. And here's my problem with the story: is that when he made him a clone that was masked, and you didn't find out until the end, that's the same fucking storyline that he basically ripped off of Invincible. No, I'm sorry, The Boys. In The Boys, Black Noir, you find out later on, is actually a clone of Homelander, and he's put on the team to keep an eye on him and to keep him in check in case he would ever go out of control. He took the same story and tried to apply it to Superman. But to me, it's like that was the wrong story.
He even looked like Black Noir.
Well, I mean, in Superman Red Son, they did make Superior Man, and that was controlled by Lex and the government. And that was the same thing, but he did become Bizarre.
But they should have made him Superior Man. It would have made there's a lot of things that would have made more sense. You just got the keys to the DC universe, and the first thing you do is you fuck up a character by messing up the character and then changing it for no reason. and making it make no sense.
A1,
And no gravitas.
Unless there's foresight where he went through the hole,
bro.
That's a whole nother universe or some shit, and he's gonna be Ultraman. That's the only other thing.
Because it would make sense if he was like, if he's like, "Who are you?" He goes, "I'm you." What? And he tells him like, "Yeah, in order to beat you, I had to find another you. He's from a different Earth."
They did that in fucking Flash. They just got done doing that with the fucking Ezra Miller Flash movie, and that failed. Like,
I'm telling you,
I like that formula. Let's do it again.
I'm telling you, when he was writing this story, he was thinking about the boys, and he's like, "Hey, you know what? They didn't use that storyline from the comics in the show. They skipped over that. So you know what? Maybe I'll use that. I could apply that to the story."
I mean, yeah, with the whole outfit and shit. Like,
yeah, and he's wearing
he
all
looks
black.
like Noir. Yeah, exactly.
It's like Black Noir,
and
like, so
I can even include the Justice Gang.
And again, the Justice Gang, stupid, hot girl, dumb.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
That was flawless. Do it again.
That was dumb. And then Metamorpho, his whole thing with
his trunks,
the baby.
Oh, the baby was
baby
ridiculous.
Joey.
He was flying through what was it? Looked like pixels. And he or like the pixel water or whatever that looked like a fucking
a rainbow of color.
Galvatron from fucking Transformers.
I'm like, is this fucking Thor: Love and Thunder? Like, what are we doing here?
And he's holding the baby, and he has to contort his body just to hold the baby. There was another movie that did that. There was another movie that did that with like a baby or an animal or something, where they were holding onto it and trying to keep it safe and keeping it above water and all this other crap. It was just, I'm sorry, it was just too much. It was too stupid. Then you had Crypto coming in and taking out Mr. Fantastic's little orbs, and that was dumb. And you had Metamorpho flying with just a head because he did something. The coolest thing that James Gunn did with Metamorpho was create the kryptonite. That was the coolest thing.
Yes.
That was it. That was it.
And even that was like, like obviously, yeah, that's a realistic outcome. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, because that's what he would do. And he was like, oh shit, I didn't think about that. But everything else about his character, I thought was dumb. Mm-hmm. The whole thing about Baravia was dumb.
Even the guy in the Baravia, the leader.
I am the leader of Baravia. I was just really like, who
are you the leader of Baravia?
I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? He looked like a fucking a drunk version of Doc Brown. It was just like,
I thought it was gonna be like Mystique, how she transformed. Yeah. I thought it was gonna be like a changer or something, kind of morphs into another character or whatever.
Well, you would think it would be the Pixel Lady that can do all these crazy things.
No, but she puts her head through her vagina as she wants to make a. There it is. There it is.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Like,
why would you do this? Why would you just turn around?
It just seemed like she was. If you play it one more time, it looks like she's having a difficult time right here. Like, oh god, oh fuck. I hope I'm facing the right way.
But no, it's like, why wouldn't you just turn around?
Turning around would be quicker and more efficient.
Well, just like the person in Star Wars, they turn around. They did the whole spin.
It's like, if I'm watching this, right, it's sort of like, like when you watch like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, when they're like, let's form the Megazord, and as they're coming together, it's like, attack him right now, right now. The villain's just standing there like, and it's like right here, it's like,
they're almost
shooter. And instead they're just like, it's coming. It's like, that was a dumb
drowning.
They were like, that's such a cool shot. In reality, it's like, that was
such a stupid shot. They could have done it way better, where one of them punches him and then maybe like her head goes around like T3 or something.
It was just dumb.
It was dumb. Like, just oh god.
What's that?
I said, he was still explaining. I was like, we've already moved on.
There's so much to talk about. I mean, fucking up and ruining Jor-El and his mother was really dumb. His mother. That was dumb. I mean, now for the rest of the DCU, Jor-El is unusable because now he's a piece of shit. So now you've lost him. Yeah. But DC fans are okay with that. They're like, that's fine. We got Jimmy Olsen.
and Jimmy apparently Olsen, he's a babe magnet.
Yeah, he's a ladies' man. It was kind of like, why can't he just be a dork? Look, I commend James Gunn for casting I guess like a redheaded white guy. Hey, Good job. You stayed true to the character, but they made him a ladies' man. This guy should have been the opposite of a ladies' man. And on top of that, that shouldn't even have been a factor in the story. It's like, who cares?
And what was the point of Miss Tessmacher? It made no sense. It made no sense at all to include her in any way, shape, or form. They're like, this lady who has accidentally taken all these photos with her in them and trying to, bits and pieces of information are enough to convict somebody. I'm like, really? That's what it takes? Man. Like, that's all it is?
Wrote it.
AI wrote it.
Well, yeah, fucking James Gunn's like, I'm writing 6 or 7 movies right now. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're letting something else write for you, apparently, because it doesn't make any sense. And AI's probably like, that's an amazing thing you just did there. Yeah. That's so awesome. Now you've done that. It's so true to the character, and we can add this in, but what about this example? He's like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
And how much money do you think I'll make?
Let's talk really quick about his suit. I fucking hate the suit. Now, in the movie, it didn't look as dumb as it does in all the other pictures I've seen of the suit. Still, I didn't like the suit. I didn't like how it was form-fitting. I didn't like how you could see his muscles.
Form-fitting, it was baggy.
I'm saying I didn't like how it wasn't form-fitting.
I didn't hear you say it wasn't. Okay.
I hated how it was like, if he moved in a certain way, it would like fold over itself. It was just it was so big that it just seemed bulky and
it seemed uncomfortable.
Well, and I kind of feel like I know James Gunn said, "Well, I didn't want him to stand there with fake muscles." But it's kind of like I feel like again he was trying to make it like anyone could be Superman. You don't have to be a muscle bound.
Superman was more like Broom Boy. So
and I hated his hair too.
I didn't really have a problem with his hair. I didn't have a horrible problem with the suit. I didn't like his collar, and I didn't like the way his cape tucked into the suit. It was a weird, setup. I understand why he went with the Kingdom Comes S shield, so that everybody can say, "Hey, this Superman's completely different."
I didn't like a
younger. No, but I understand why he did it. It wasn't the greatest thing. But I do like that, Supergirl has the same crest so that they're not, trying to make him different and all that. So that's the one good thing about it. And, I guess Crypto has the same thing on his I guess he has a collar. Yeah. But I do like that they're using, the emblem everywhere, like on the Fortress of Solitude. I do like that the Fortress of Solitude is a thing.
Yeah.
It's not just in his mind. I do like that it moves. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I like that it moved. That was a cool aspect. I was like, yeah, you know what? If you're trying to hide that, it should be able to move.
Yeah, it should be able to be hidden. I did not like that it was in Antarctica. It should still be in the northern, hemisphere, somewhere in the Arctic, where no one really goes anyway. And if it moves around, then why does it have to be in Antarctica? That doesn't make any sense. So I don't know. I don't care. But there was some cool things. Like Mr. Terrific was probably the best character of the whole movie. And also Lois Lane. Guy Gardner was third. He was funny in some parts, but he kind of got a little annoying. I did like, some of the lines they gave him, like what? He was talking about his hair. He called him Big Blue and all that. And, there was some cool stuff that Guy Gardner got to do and say. I did not like all the middle finger things.
Yeah.
Like if he did one, that'd be okay. But it's like, bro, you don't have to that was just like sophomoric, basic, kind of kiddie humor, just very, very childish, very James Gunn.
Well, like I said before, I feel like James Gunn watched that scene and was like, hey, what would be so cool is if when the fists come up, they're middle fingers. That would be awesome. We could do that
every time.
Yeah, and then they did it, and he's like, "Oh, I love it,
more like just like fucking what's his name, Kylo Ren, more."
Yeah, it was just I don't know, but
it is cheaper. You just use the same model,
same model.
Change it from a different angle.
Matt, what'd you think of the suit? Did you prefer the suit?
I like people's edits that they do online. No collar, cape is like kind of within like right here, something like that would have been cool. I hate the lines. He just looks like it just looks so awkward on him. Like he has,
it needs to be form fitting.
It
needs to be form fitting, and I bet you the next movie it won't be. He'll stick to the non.
No, because it's already cheap. They've already have the costume. They just got done out of being out of production. They're getting right back into production. I bet they're using the same asset, or the same exact look or whatever. They're just trying to give you consistency.
Props to him for still rocking his crest, even though.
But I hope it doesn't come with like a river.
You're an idiot. Props to him for still rocking his crest, even though his like whole planet did like slaves and conquer planets. Ray can't say that. she just went with the adopted parents, and that was it. Like, okay,
that's it. But no, it was just so stupid. And I'm trying to bring up an image right now.
Clark was good, but it was only good for that one scene. I think it was just that one scene where he was arguing with Lois, but that's when he got emo, and I was like, bro, Clark would actually keep his composure. Clark wouldn't allow, himself to just get... And the same thing when he came and yelled at Lex. He's like, that's why you don't understand me.
That was another dumb argument. He came across as whiny. He came across as a complainer. The first time when he flew into his office and started talking to him, that should have been a pretty serious conversation between the two of them. It was the first time.
It should have had weight.
Yes, that was the first time the two of them had been face to face with one another, with no one in the room, and they should have had a serious, deep conversation at that moment. When the dog came in the second conversation and started flipping him around like fucking Hulk and Loki, which I was like, I see where you get that from. But that should have been a very serious conversation in which you kind of learn you get a grasp of the dimension between the two of them. You know what I mean? Like, okay, this is how they interact. This is how they feel about each other. We're putting them one-on-one for you guys to understand how they see each other and how they interact with one another when given the opportunity. Instead, he didn't do that.
I need Lex to be a little bit more assertive and a little less like, very emo. Again, same thing. You're just like such a baby toddler. Because I want my Lex to play chess, not fucking Battleship, because that's all he was playing. Okay, A1, A2, it's B3, whatever the fuck. And I was just like, no, dude, my Lex is I want to see the President Lex. I want to see Clark over Cavill.
That doesn't make any sense. I like his Clark over Cavill, like over the actor
over Cavill's Clark.
Yeah, Cavill's.
Well, Cavill's Clark didn't get all that much screen time.
He didn't get a lot of Clark.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's kind of like we didn't get. To me, there should have been more Superman. Instead, it was like the Justice Gang, everybody else, the Daily Planet crew. We got to give them some time as well. And like, I really didn't care about them. I wanted to learn more about Superman. Yeah. I thought the best character in the movie was Lois Lane. I thought the actress that got to play her, she nailed it. I thought she did a great job. I think
she's way better and way more assertive, way more like a reporter. I think she really gave that vibe that she was a reporter.
She won the argument when her and Superman had that first conversation. Mm-hmm. To me, I was like, well, she clearly won that. He completely fell apart and turned into a bitch.
He did. And he shouldn't have.
She stayed composed. She stayed on point. And she was like, okay, so now you're saying this? Like she broke him down very easily. And I was like, wow. Okay, so maybe she should be Superman because he's falling apart right now.
Yeah, because Clark is not an idiot. Clark is a very intelligent person, just like Bruce. They're very intelligent people.
But they made him out to be somebody who's just an everyday guy with superpowers. And so that was the problem I had with him, was that he didn't come across as a super intelligent guy. He came across as a guy who was like, I'm just an American with some power, man. It's kind of like, okay, well, that's cool, but not really, because he was trying so hard
to stop the war.
Well, he was trying so hard to make Superman relatable to everybody. Yeah. And that was the thing I thought Zach did a better job at, is that Zach said, hey, look, he's not relatable to everybody because he's a fucking alien. Yeah. So now let's explore the aspect of how does it feel to be an alien on a different planet where you're trying to hide your identity. And that's what they were kind of going for. This one, he was already Superman. Mm-hmm. Metahumans had existed for what?
50 years? Something like that?
No, everything was three.
So
it was like 300 years.
3,000, something
3,000 years, whatever.
3 minutes.
So that was the quick little synopsis of the DCU has been existing for a very long time already. And of course, in Man of Steel, they didn't have that because they didn't know they were going to make a huge universe out of this. They were just making a Superman movie.
Superman.
And so the storyline, the whole Baravia part, to me was dumb. It was on the same level as in BVS when he had the whole thing in Africa, when it was like, that's unnecessary. You already have the cataclysm that happened in Metropolis. That's what the hearing should have been about. Was about, why did this happen? How did this happen? And is this going to happen again? And now that you have revealed yourself, now you're on our planet. I know you're saving people, but are there going to be more attacks and more threats coming from space because you're here? That's what I would have rather have seen in BVS.
Yeah.
But regardless, that whole storyline in Africa, I didn't care about, because once the black lady got pushed in front of the fucking subway, it was like, okay, well, she's dead. Yeah. They're all dead. And they found the bullet. Oh, it's Lex. There could have been a much easier way to involve Lex and the wrongdoings of the world.
He needs to be more of an orchestrator that, that really kind of like, is a puppet master, and just sort of, is very, he's like I said, with chess, he's already 3 steps ahead. And that's the kind of Lex that I want to see.
It should have been close to like Dark Knight.
There you go.
Kind of like with
hey, Chubby Teddy nailed it. Bring back Cavill.
What's up? Oh, they tried that, and then James Gunn was like, "I had just had a meeting with Henry. We're on good terms.
I fired him."
He did.
He did.
He posted.
Too much crypto. I mentioned that before. Yeah. I liked him at first. And then when he was in the end battle, I was like, "What is he still doing here? Like, like, can you go? Like, it's cool, but like, this is getting kind of gimmicky now." So I would have wanted him to be in the beginning and not so much at the end. Mr. Terrific was good. I liked his character. Guy Gardner was cool. Hawkgirl sucked. Because I just thought her character was shallow and cheesy.
Very shallow, yes. Especially with her, you got it, the hawk cry. Or whatever.
I was like, when does she do that? And then they're like hitting the big the axolotl, the big monster. They're hitting its eye, and it was just like, what the fuck is going on? And like the whole idea that he was trying to create a world where it's like, every day there's villains trying to destroy the Metropolis and the planet, and Superman's got to fight them off. It's kind of like, I get what you're going for, because in comics it happens like nonstop. It's like one story after another.
Well, that's why they had that one being behind him, and he was like, "Oh, they've got it." What was it? Not Starro.
The big eyeball,
the sun, or whatever. Yeah, that big sun.
But that was unnecessary.
It was unnecessary.
And also, it's a scene in which Clark and Lois are trying to have like a close one-on-one conversation. In the background, it's like.
Yeah, and you see like, Green Lantern with the baseball bat.
Yeah, it's kind of like
okay.
And for me, I think he was trying to put a lot into that dialogue, but at the same time, he was like, well, for everyone who doesn't want to listen to that, I'm going to give them something to stare at. Kind of like like you always say, Ryan, my background, like. Hey, they don't like it, they'll just stare at your background, look at all your shit. That's basically what he was doing. He was like, if they're not listening to this, I want to give them something to stare at so the kids could be like, whoa, baseball bat, yeah.
Get him, Green Lantern.
And then right here, whenever a girl shrieks, the camera angle always reminds me of Jaws 4. But the Justice Gang, I didn't care for. I didn't really know why they were there. I didn't know. To me, the Justice Gang should have been comprised of characters that were the current Justice League. And it would have been cool if like Superman used to be a part of the Justice League and right now he's not. And it's something with some kind of lore. Like, where was Wonder Woman? Where's Batman? Where's the regular Green Lantern? We don't know, because he hasn't figured that out yet. So we're seeing
because in lore you have the Justice League and you have Justice Society. And he was like, you know what? Fuck all that. I'm going to do Justice Gang. And that way I can put the people in that I want to put in and damn be everyone else. Like
pretty much.
Like this is and they were all wearing the same costume because apparently they're owned by
Maxwell Lord.
Stag. Maxwell Lord. Yeah. And which is his brother.
Because his brother plays the character.
His brother plays the character. His brother plays Weasel. His brother probably does other shit too. Cheap. But also not, because his brother gets
residuals. But Sam, I don't mind that, because look, like if you're making a movie, you'd probably have Matt in it.
I would never hire this guy right here.
If you're making a movie, you'd probably put me in it. I'm like, hey! So I don't mind him putting his brother in it.
I am not hiring this guy.
Yeah, like I said, I don't care about his brother being in it. That's fine. I don't care. But it just the overall story was just so crowded and so jumbled up that it was kind of like, okay, so
it was
like you said earlier,
a mess.
Well, okay, so I'm going to ask you the question that you asked me earlier today.
Yes.
What was the storyline of the movie?
Exactly. And once we figure that out, I think we'll be able to figure out what they're doing with Supergirl, because they're going back to the same shit. They're using a whole bunch of crypto. They brought in Jason Momoa to give you a little bit of eye
hold on
candy.
now. With Supergirl, they're basing it off of Woman of Tomorrow, and that one has a storyline. So there's their story.
That Lobo
this one he wrote himself. And
yeah, but he based it off of that other one, right? Didn't he base it All-Star Superman?
All-Star Superman, but he didn't. He based like
where was Samson?
He based the world is kind of based off of that. The story, not so much. And but it's the what do you call it? The way it was designed, that their whole world, that was the world that he presented, and
the world.
I just think that
worlds.
Well, and then when it comes to Lex Luthor, okay, let me ask you guys, which Lex did you prefer? Did you prefer this Lex, or did you prefer Jesse Eisenberg's Lex?
As far as mannerisms and looks, Nicholas Hoult. I can't get around Eisenberg. Yeah.
So I like Eisenberg's dialogue. I think it's masterful. I think that is definitely Lex Luthor when you read what he has to say. I just didn't like the portrayal, the execution of that version of Lex. I would have much preferred that guy from Back to the Future 2. I'm talking about
Biff Tannen.
No. His lackey, the other guy. What is his name? He's from. He played the Phantom, didn't he?
Oh, Billy Zane.
I would have preferred. He's too old now, but he would have been a great Lex.
Yeah, a lot of people would have been a great Lex, but he's too old now. That's like saying like
I need
Kevin Spacey. Well, he's too old now.
No, fuck yeah, and he's weirdo. But the thing is that I would have preferred somebody who I believe can not only outsmart, but has just got that sort of like I'm cool, calm, collected. I'm 3 steps ahead of you, bro. Like, you think you're a smart alien? I'm going to outsmart you. I'm going to outsmart you, and I'm going to make you look stupid. And he didn't. He was a snot-nosed, little brat. He just seemed like, that was his thing. His fucking building that broke apart and started fucking floating for some damn reason. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that was weird.
What the hell was that?
That was like kids playing with toys. Like, oh, all of a sudden it floats, it flies. Like, what? And then like on top of that, it's like, telling me the whole time he was fighting the Hammer Baravia, he wasn't like, wait a minute, I can hear Lex Luthor and a bunch of his idiots in that room talking about all the different moves. He couldn't hear that. He's like, I'm too busy fighting this guy. I couldn't hear. It's kind of like, come on now. Don't be stupid. Don't. And then like when he's fighting the Engineer and Ultraman kicks him in the balls, it was kind of like,
well, the big problem that I had with
James
that
Gunn,
sequence,
come on, man. Why do you constantly have to do shit like that? Like kicking the balls. Just have him get punched in the face and he goes flying down.
The issue that I had was that there were fucking cameras around and they somehow got ahead or above Cal while he was flying up, because Lex Luthor and his gang in that office could still see that he was flying up, but they had like the camera was like right on him, and I was like, how did these things fly faster than Superman going upward into the atmosphere?
Yeah,
I was like,
they had these little orbs that were like following them around. It was kind of like, that's too much.
And I'm sorry, Superman has super hearing. Wouldn't he be able to hear Lex giving him commands?
Yeah.
And would he be like, one, oh, I'm gonna dodge that one? Like, what the fuck?
Well, he'd
like,
be able to hear Ultraman's earpiece saying,
A1,
B2.
He'll hear, like, say A1, and he'll know, okay, A1, that hurts here. Let me move or some shit like that. It's just, I just don't think
he should have been able to counter all those attacks.
Yes, he's not a combat fighter. Superman's not a combat fighter. He's an intelligent guy that is more dense and has
right.
Yeah, but So I can tell, like he wouldn't be able to like catch on. But I mean, even in football, when you start learning the other person's plays, you start being able to anticipate what the quarterback or what the, what the receivers or whatever the things are going to do. You start to anticipate, and that's how you get, interceptions and things like that. So he could have intercepted or blocked, one of these things. Yeah. It didn't have to, connect every single time. Making them intelligent, I believe that James Gunn is having a problem. Same thing like Ryan Johnson. Same thing with with all these other people that are creating these things. Is like, I'm sorry, but you should not be writing and directing. You should not be writing, directing, and producing. You should not be doing everything one man show. You need to have other people vet your shit. You need to have other people say, hey, you know what? This could be better if you did this. This could be better if you go back. Give us a second, a third, a fourth draft, because what you wrote was cool, but what you wrote was also has a lot of holes in it. It's not tight. They didn't tighten it up. They didn't do a good job with making it cohesive and understandable by everyone. I just think that they're making these things like fast food. It's fast food cinema.
It really is, and I just like it was overly lit. Now I get it. You want to make it a colorful, bright movie, but to me it was overly lit. Like he shot it with a fucking iPhone. Yeah. It was just, to me, it was not something that, was it a terrible movie? No, but I think for me it didn't have a lot of rewatchability. It was just kind of like, wow, what was that? That was right. Okay, well that was what, it was all right.
Well, I just recently rewatched it with my daughter, and she told me she didn't like it, and I watched it again, and I was like, you know what? I've got no desire or reason to watch this a third time. I mean, just don't.
It should have been Bizarro. Mm-hmm. It should have either been Bizarro or it should have been the real Ultraman from whatever Earth they come from. Yeah. And then he brought him over to fight him because he's like, hey, if I'm going to stop Superman, I need to get myself a Superman. And so he goes and he recruits Ultraman to come and do his bidding. And and maybe, he also made he told him, hey, if you do all this, you could bring the crime syndicate over here as well. It's something enticing for him to go, oh yeah, I like that.
They could have done that, or what they could have done was had, Bizarro again, who looks like Cal, and just like, he goes out there and he's in the public, and he is what is ruining Superman's perception, the perception that they have, because he's doing the things that Lex is telling him to do, which is causing the public to say, what's wrong with this cat? We know it's him. He's flying around. We know it's him because it looks like him. But, and
the real Cal would have been like, that's not me. I'm not doing those things. And they're like, well, they're seeing you do them. Like, I have to figure out who this is. And then you can have him freaking out.
In the Pocket universe, can't do anything about it. He's just ruining his whole reputation, And I guess similar to what they did sort of in Superman 3 when he was going around and he was like, breaking things apart and destroying oil ships and whatnot and whatever. And everybody kind of blamed Superman until he finally wore his nice shiny outfit. But yeah, I mean, they could have done so many different things that could have made it resonate with fans and made more sense. In a nonsensical movie. This is a superhero movie, but it still could have made a little bit more sense, and it could have been a little bit more enjoyable, because not a lot of people say, you know what, this was really stupid, but I enjoy the hell out of it.
Yeah, no. And every time I thought Superman had a moment where I was like, you know what, I like the Superman, something would happen where I was like, oh, God damn it. Like he had that scene where he's like, hey, big guy up here. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And then it was like, here comes the Justice Gang, attack his eyeballs,
and save the squirrel.
Oh God. He's like, I'm hoping we can save it and, put it like in a cosmic zoo. And like, look, I get the character says shit like that, but in the comics, you can get away with that. In live action, it doesn't look natural.
It didn't make a lot of sense with that big character. Is that, yes, it grew, but it's like, how did it get down the street unnoticed? How did it get down the street without causing havoc in its wake as it was growing, as it was getting big?
And not only that, but like when I love the shot where he saves the little girl from all those flying helium tanks or whatever they are. But she's standing there like looking at the ground, like not paying attention. It's like, dude, there's a fucking giant axolotl the size of a skyscraper running around. How are you not noticing that that's happening? I don't care if you have headphones on. You'd feel like, and she's like not paying attention.
Well, they didn't have the water, from the Jurassic Park.
But yeah, but you know what I mean? Like how on earth did she not know that was happening? People running around screaming.
It's because when it's CG, they don't take that thing into account because they're not doing a lot of this stuff practical. They're doing it and like, we'll fix it in post. And they don't have those thoughts. They don't have anybody like you or me or Matt telling them that doesn't make any sense.
And honestly, to me, we should have found out that video of Jor-El and his mom those were deep fakes. Like they went the real message. And then he should have showed them the real message, which was a positive message. Okay. And that would have been like, okay, they're not bad guys. Okay. They're actually good people. That's the other thing too, is that you had these films that were coming out, and he could have used those films to try and kind of restart what was already there. I get it was a fucking mess, and I don't blame him for rebooting the whole universe.
I blame him because he didn't reboot the whole universe. He used his Peacemaker. He wanted to continue that. He wants the Waller. He cherry picked, which he shouldn't have done. What he should have done is he should have had foresight because he already had the job. He should have released Aquaman first and then finished that universe out with the Flash and said, you know what? That Barry Allen reset everything. Yeah. So now we can start with a clean slate. Yes. I'm sorry. You're going to have to recast John Cena. I'm sorry. You're going to have to recast Viola Davis. I'm sorry. You're going to have to recast all these other people that you wanted to keep, and all the other people that you wanted to throw away. Cool, whatever. But do it. If you're going to do it, like go in and
do it.
Exactly.
Do it till you're satisfied, whatever it is. But no, I wholeheartedly agree with you. He just should have. Don't cherry pick. Just if you're gonna reboot the whole thing. I'm sorry. Do I love Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn? Sure, but she's getting older now, and so it's kind of like it's time to move on to a different actress. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So you should have just rebooted everything.
Yeah. Yeah, like the fact you don't know how long it's going to take these things to come out, right? And it's the same thing with Pattinson. Like, how old is he going to be when from Batman to Batman 2? Like how much time are they going to say? Well, this is supposed to be year 2, yeah, but he's like 10 years older. I mean, they're going to have to. These actors are not getting any younger, and that's why it was ridiculous to bring back Michael Keaton as a 70-year-old Batman for the Flash. I was like, didn't quite work. I mean, he was one of the best parts of the movie because it was a horrible movie, but he was one of the best things about it. But it was still like, bro, you got a 70-year-old Batman. What are we doing here? And they had the idea that they want, if it wasn't for this whole James Gunn thing and all that, before anybody had changed guard, they were going to use Michael Keaton's Batman as the Batman of this universe.
Yeah, the whole thing was a huge mess. I would have loved to see more Henry Cavill as Superman, but I think the problem is that so much time had passed and so much misuse had gone down that, like, look, I get why he rebooted the whole DC universe because it was a fucking mess. And I'm sorry, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom was a stupid movie.
Yeah.
And The Flash was a fucking mess. Mm-hmm. And look, at that point, they probably did not want to invest any more money into The Flash. It already gone through so much bullshit that, like, if you try to change the story or the best thing you could have done was just change the ending where he sets a new flashpoint and that's it. But at that point, he just wanted to move on and get rid of these old projects and start his own projects. But then the talk about, he made those posts that, like, oh yeah, Shazam definitely lives in his corner of the DC universe. That's for sure. But or he said Zachary Levi's Shazam, but he's probably not going to bring him back.
And the same thing with Zolo,
Morhi Duenya, he was like, oh, he's definitely DC's first character. Where the fuck is he at? Why haven't we seen him pop up in any of your shows or movies or what's going on with that? Nobody really knows. And things are constantly changing when it comes to James Gunn. He likes to say one thing, but then if that doesn't fit his narrative, he'll just change. He doesn't give a shit. And I just think at the end of the day, this universe needs to be more fleshed out. And I didn't think, some people would say that James Gunn's Superman, that's what that was world building. I didn't feel that way. I felt like it was world stuffing as opposed to, learning about the universe as the movie went on. I would have loved to have seen him go up to the Watchtower and meet the Justice League, and then it
would have been great if it was a world like that where everything was already established. Like, I loved seeing the Hall of Justice. I thought that was cool. I was like, oh sweet, we finally got the Hall of Justice in a movie. That's great. I think they went to Cincinnati and shot that. That's awesome. But just to have the watchtower, that would have been even cooler. People would have been lost their minds for that. It would have been. And yes, of course, with James Gunn, you're getting Guardians of the Galaxy. You're getting, Guardians of Metropolis. You're getting, all this, these different things. So yeah, that would have fit. That would have made sense. And it would have been cool to see, like, oh, look, it's the back of Batman's cowl in the distance. Like, yeah, he's there. You don't know who's playing him because, they're doing the same thing that they did in the cartoon. So it's like, good, like, show us a cohesive world, right? If you're gonna world build, and if you're world building, then why the hell are we going back to fucking Superman that wasn't beloved by everyone, that wasn't something that everybody gravitated toward, and you're making Man of Tomorrow?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense to me. And then on top of that, you're like, yeah, we also got Matt Reeves' Batman, which means that Brave and the Bold is going to get pushed back. But also, we're going to do a Nightwing and Jason Todd movie, Red Hood, and that's not even going to be a part of this universe. So what the hell am I doing?
What are we doing?
Yeah.
And look, here we go. Johnny Dome has a comment here. He says, I personally would started it like Smallville, start him as a teen. Look, I get that, but like, to me, I'm fine with him starting it in an already existing DC universe.
Yeah.
But the fact that there was no Justice League, an actual Justice League, not Justice Gang, but Justice League, there wasn't Wonder Woman, there wasn't Batman, there wasn't any of the main characters. To me, that's a problem. And I get it, he doesn't want to, cast the characters immediately. Like, oh, we got our Superman, we got our Batman, and we don't even have a script for their movies yet. But to me, it would have been cool to have them in the movie. They don't have to fight. They don't have to do anything. They just have to show up.
Contract, yeah.
Or just have references to their characters.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I thought it would have been a movie where he has a current Justice League where it's all the new, it's the Justice Gang characters, a lot of newer characters, and the original ones have all moved on, and so you get hints of them or statues of them or something, as if there's a rich history of Justice League. Yeah,
exactly. That would have been great.
And he's the last one still on the Justice League. Yeah, it's still hanging on to that idea that we symbolize hope and freedom for the for the planet, while Batman, Wonder Woman, and the other guys, Green Lantern, they've sort of moved on. They're still in contact with him, but they've moved on, Yeah. And so now he has to try to reassemble them and be like, hey, like, I want to get the band back together again. Like what for? It's kind of.
I mean, he's already got a new mission. He's got to repopulate the planet with Kryptonians.
Yeah. Yeah. Take on any wives. Do that. God, I still can't believe he did that. And the new fans are like, oh, I love that. That's great.
Well, another issue that I have is fucking, Jonathan Kent is a bumbling idiot. He's not a source of like really good, here's somebody that I can learn something from. He's just idiot. And they wanted to make his parents kind of like grandparents because they didn't understand technology, didn't understand how a phone works. And I'm like, bro, my parents even understand how, Facebook and all that crap works. It's like, what are you doing? Is that James Gunn's parents and he's making fun of his own parents because they can't?
They're like, hello, you still there? I was like, don't make them annoying.
Yeah, dude, they were annoying.
Don't make them Jar Jar Binks. Don't make them a comic relief.
Yeah.
You can't make them a comic relief and then say, okay, now let's lean on them for advice.
Yeah.
Because then nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. Did you see the private chat?
No.
So yeah, a lot of issues that we both had, even Matt, with James Gunn's Superman. It was overstuffed, had a lot of problems, bad villains. The Hammer of
Take him in my room.
The Hammer of Baravia, aka Ultraman, bad idea. He stole the whole concept from The Boys, and it didn't really work for me for Superman. It didn't.
Superman.
And the whole Baravia thing, stupid. That's already been. Here's the problem: is that's already been done. Zack Snyder had him doing something overseas in a different country that caused controversy.
Yeah.
Why are we doing that again?
Right.
Why are we doing it again? You might as well have done General Zod again, but you didn't. But instead, you took some elements from the different stories that you've seen, but we've already done that. Mm-hmm. So let's do something different.
We did do something different, but it didn't work.
He did do something different, but like it almost felt like I was watching a very shortened version of like a TV series, where there's so much going on that you're like, like by the time he was trying to keep the baby out of the Rainbow River, I was wondering to myself, I was like, what is happening right now? Like, what the fuck is going on?
Right.
This
the pocket universe didn't even look interesting. It was like, it was just filled with psychedelic colors, and there was some like, some walls, and like, maybe there was no floor, and somehow, Crypto could fly in, but then also they could fly out without really any propulsion other than, who was helping with propulsion. It was not Crypto, but was it? No, I don't think it was Mr. Terrific. He just had the drones that were like showing him the way.
I don't know.
I don't know. Oh, it was Metamorpho, and he was pulling him. I was like, how are y'all that like? What?
And then he had the glass cells for the prisoners, the people that
all
talk
of his
bad about him.
Yeah,
it was like, what? It would have been cool if like they were like, that would have been awesome if that's where like, metahumans are at. That's where Wonder Woman's at. That's where Batman is at. And I get it, you don't want to cast them this early, but it felt like if the Justice League, or if not some main characters, like if Zolo or a Blue Beetle was in there, I mean, like, instead it was just a bunch of randos. I mean, look, he did take some risks. He killed the hot dog vendor. He shot him in the head. Remember, he's like, he has a gun to his head and he shoots him. And I was like, oh fuck, he did that? I thought that was cool. I was like, that's cool. I'm glad he did it. It shows, hey, there's some consequences. But then immediately he'll follow it up with like some dumb shit.
Yeah.
Where
he was like, that went a little too short. I didn't think it was gonna.
No, I'm gonna have the baby beat everybody up. I mean, like, it's just like, oh, come on. And then like he's trying to break out of the cell and save everybody, and they're like, wait, no, don't do that, Lex. Like, hey, he's trying to help you guys. Do you think Superman is trying to fuck you guys over?
He didn't help anybody.
Well, he got himself out of there.
He got out of there, and he got the baby, and he left everyone else there.
Well, they got out because you saw them later on, but it was like,
they did at the very end. How did they get out? Who got him out?
I forgot. I think Mr. Terrific. Who the fuck knows?
Maybe.
But let's talk about the Mr. Terrific fight scene. I hated that scene
with the thing when she was in the bubble.
Yeah, the Mary Poppins. Like, woo,
it was all right.
It was all right, but the song I didn't like.
The song was stupid. Yes, the song was as dumb as Black Adam's "Paint It Black."
Yes,
same energy.
Yeah,
same
energy. Same energy.
So.
I was reading a comment. Lobo is amazing. I'm hyped for, and Clayface. Yeah,
it's funny. I'm looking forward to Lobo. Not so much Clayface. I like Clayface as a character. I just don't know what they're going to do with it.
It's not a part of the DCU. It's just
exactly. It's
I think it is. I'm just saying that. Folie à deux. So yeah, it's just, I don't know. So, okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a lot of things that I did not like about the movie.
What
did I like about the movie?
Yeah, what did you like? Give me something positive.
There are things I did like. Hey, big guy up here, that scene.
Yeah.
The shot where the Hammer Bravia lands and the camera follows him through the tent into that portal.
Oh, sure.
And back out again. Okay. That was a cool shot. I was like, oh, that's fucking cool. I like that. But like they had their whole fucking like little outposts next to the water. Like, hey, Superman didn't fucking notice that those guys were fucking there the whole time. Like, hey, what are they doing there? I don't know.
Oh, surf's up, dude.
No, it was like, okay.
Closed.
Yeah, and then and then like at the end, all of his like his soldiers with the armor try to take on Superman. It's like, look, if the Hammer of Baravia or Ultraman can't stop him, why do you think those guys can stop him?
That's not only that, they were hitting the ground like at terminal velocity.
Yeah, they'd all be massively
and
injured.
All the people, I'm sorry, but all the people that were like, hey, Ben Affleck, Batman doesn't kill. Superman apparently is cool with killing.
Superman.
There were some things that I liked about it. I like, like you said, I think Lois was good.
Lois is great. I really like Lois.
I liked Mr. Terrific. I liked his ride. I thought that was cool.
The garage door opening slow, stupid. Come
that
on.
was dumb. The visuals were okay. I liked the robots. I thought the robots were cool. The Superman robots. Yeah. I didn't like some of the personalities that they were like, oh, he smiled at me. And I didn't care about that.
That's too much.
I thought the the Fortress of Solitude itself I liked. Inside and outside. And I thought it was that was pretty cool. Whoa. I thought go ahead.
No, the engineer attaches to it, downloads that video, but doesn't download anything else. Download,
bro. He didn't get that far into the script. He's not thinking
bro, all you took was that one video. Okay, let's go. It's kind of like what?
James Gunn does not have foresight, dude. His version of world building is just not that. It's not.
But you know what I mean? There should have been a lot more they pulled out of there.
He should have technology that humans have never had, and now he can do things with them.
James Gunn wanted to take a risk, and that risk was I'm going to make Jor-El and his wife Laura. I'm going to make them bad guys. I'm going to make them corrupt. I'm going to make them people that are going to say some horrible shit. That was a big mistake for me because it's like, hey, look, those are characters that live on in Superman's.
One thing I did not mind.
You took that away.
One thing I did not mind was that Jor-El and Laura spoke in Kryptonian.
No, that was cool.
I liked that. I was like, okay, that. Cool. I did not like that. Yeah, I didn't like the whole trope of them. Not the footage was corrupted. I thought that was dumb. Just don't do that at all.
Just don't do it.
They're telling their son, hey, this is the planet we're sending you on. This is we're teaching you whatever. That's because that's what you would do. You send a baby off. You don't expect the baby to learn the culture and all that shit. You want to teach them your culture and that should be more the focus and not so much planting your seed. Yeah. I thought that was really just again low-hanging fruit.
It should have been a altered video, and at the end he shows the world what his parents, the real message that they left him, which was a positive, inspirational message.
Yeah.
And because you want to be able to use the characters again. Like you're now like, oh, Jor-El, that guy's he's a fucking
he's a pimp daddy.
He's a polygamist, it's just like it's just
he's
dumb.
like explore the galaxy, son. Sow your royal oats.
And it's like people got so mad over how Zach used Jimmy Olsen, but nobody cares that they made Jor-El and Laura fucking villains.
Yeah.
And that they're power hungry people. It was like, what's going on?
They were more interested in a lot of people were just more interested in having a win in their eyes that wasn't anything Snyderverse related. So if it was against anything that would bring back that old I guess tone, they're like, yes, anything to get rid of that. That was that in their mind that's a win. Right.
I'm sorry, that's the same concept as Matt Reeves' The Batman. It just felt like, did I like the movie? I did, but it felt like,
bro,
why am I seeing this right
I'm
now?
actually a little bit looking forward to the second Batman movie because I know it's going to be original, because I feel like the Batman of Pattinson's, I've said this before, but I believe that it is Batman Begins and The Dark Knight just kind of retold in their own way, because it's almost the exact same thing, beat for beat, just changing out what do you call it? Scarecrow for the Riddler, and but everything else is practically the same. It's another tactical suit instead of just a Batman suit. It's like we want to make this reality.
In his world, it's not a Batman Justice League type world. It's more of just again, it's like Nolan verse.
Nolan's, yes, same like Nolan.
And so they went back to that. They went back to that
it was
concept.
Safe. Because it was safe.
Well, and they couldn't get Affleck to show up. I don't know what the fuck happened there. They just should have recasted him, and
they should have recast Affleck. They should have got somebody else who is a similar, similar acting cadence, similar stature, somebody who doesn't mind going to the gym, and no, because he hated it.
Yeah.
And he did it for the first film, but he was just like, man, this I hate it. This sucks. So, hey, that's cool. I'm glad you did it. I thought your Batman and BVS was really good. But everything subsequent it just kept getting worse until we got the Flash. And then I was like, okay, this is ridiculous. I can understand why you're making him look ridiculous in the honeycomb suit. It's because you don't want him to come back, and you don't want the fans to want him to come back either. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was same thing. Low hanging fruit.
Yeah. The writing just needed to be better. Needed better storytelling. It just, to me, like, and this is just my personal opinion, but like when you watch like Man of Steel, that is a cinematic experience. That is a movie.
Yes.
While when I watch James Gunn's Superman, it's like, this is just
it's popcorn and it's fast food, dude. That's all it is. Fast food cinema.
Fast food cinema, fast food superhero. And I mean, look, if you like it,
it's
you like
easily
it. It's
digestible and on to the next,
Yeah. Like there's a lot of, like I said, some things I liked, a lot of things I didn't. And it just was.
There was more wrong with it than right, in my opinion. I think that if you had given the story to someone else, or if you'd given the directing chops to someone else, we probably would have gotten a better product. Having it all hang on James Gunn's shoulders was a bad decision by James Gunn, because he is the head of DC Studios. So I think that with him doing that, who liked Creature Commandos and says, you know what, I watched that, after watching it the first time, I haven't watched it again because it's not good. It's not interesting. It
has fun. No rewatchability.
Same thing with his Suicide Squad. Again, I watched it twice. I can't watch it again. I don't care. The same thing with I mean, I'm sorry, but everything that he has put out from DC has not been good. And it's been passable because they do get people to go and see it. It is a film and it works, and you can put it, you can play it, and it has a beginning, a middle, and an end and credits, but that doesn't make it something that you want to rewatch and say, hey, you know what? This is fantastic. This is cinema. This is Lord of the Rings,
Lord of the Rings.
It's not, dude. It's not. It's not. It's like, this is a Rings of Power.
It is. It really is. I couldn't have said better myself. Guys, that's going to do it for the show. We gave you our take on how we would fix James Gunn's Superman, what we liked about it, what we didn't like about it, what should have changed. Let us know what you think about our comments in the comment section below. If you want to support the channel, just hit that join button and become a member of the channel. Memberships start as low as $2.99, and it goes a long way to keeping the lights running, the internet going, and the show going on a weekly basis. So I do appreciate all those who already are a member of the channel. Here's a link right here if you want to go check out the Nephilim comic over on his Indiegogo
hey guys,
campaign.
Do me a favor, grab a copy of the Nephilim. When we release it on digital, everyone will be able to read it. Tell me, do you think I'm a good job? I do a good job of telling a story or world building or anything like that? Let me know. How I am doing, because I'm putting it on the line because I do a lot of critiquing over here. I'll tell you what I think is bad, and I'll tell you what I think is good, and I'll tell you how I would try to make it better. So I implore anybody to just at least check out what I've done and let me know.
Let them know. Guys, smash that like button and subscribe to the Nicotina Show. Subscribe to Zever Comics. And then until then, guys, we'll be back next week. I've got another banger topic for Ryan and I. I haven't even told him yet.
Nope.
Should I say it now?
Yes. Let's get it ready, man. We still have viewers. What should we be expecting next week?
Next week, it's going to be fixing the DCEU's The Flash.
Oh God! Oh no! Okay. Hey, I'm down. Let's go. Let's go.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys next time. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you want to support the channel, become a member by hitting that join button right down below. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.